All right, so are we good? Are we live? I think we are. Hello all and welcome back to Women's Football Chat Live. Tonight our coverage of the 2025 Women's Euros continues as we move into match day 2 in Group C. It's been a tasty tournament so far, and earlier today we saw Germany take on Denmark. They won that game unconvincingly, but they won it, and that's the important thing, by 2-1. That sees them qualify for the quarterfinals. Now Sweden will be looking to follow suit, which they can do with victory over Poland, Harry. So a lot at stake. Poland playing for survival. How are you feeling ahead of this one?
I'm feeling good. I think it's going to be a really good game. As you say, this game will decide the result of this group, to be fair, and maybe that match week 3 is a bit of a null and void for all these sides. Sweden will be hoping to win today, put themselves through, and it's a straight shootout between them and Germany to top the group. But Poland have to get the result tonight. They want to stay at the Euros, and after a decent performance against Germany, I feel like they'll want to make sure that they can at least take the fight to the final day and then take on Denmark for a place in the quarterfinals. But a lot of work to do for Poland tonight. They're up against it on the pitch. They're up against it on paper as well. So they're going to give it a good go. We saw them do that in match week 1. I thought they were brilliant. They gave Germany a really good test and pushed them all the way, and were unfortunate to not come away with anything from that game. But overall, for tonight for Poland, it is that now or never moment where they need to win tonight. And, well, it's going to be difficult because Sweden, a very capable side. They did well to beat Denmark. That was a difficult game. It wasn't a brilliant performance from Sweden, but it was enough to get the win across the line. They'll be hoping they can put on a bit of a show, especially in front of goal, against a side like Poland.
Yeah, I think what we saw from Sweden was a decent amount of chance creation, but I think a lack of clinicality in that game. They just couldn't take their chances. What we did see, though, was Philip Angeldal had a few chances of getting into some really good positions. She missed 2, but then ultimately found that winning goal, that all-important strike. So yeah, it's been... I don't think it was an electric start from Sweden, but they got 3 points on the board, and that's all that matters. And I think they've certainly looked more comfortable than Germany have in their game. So this will be a good test, because we saw Poland make life really difficult for Germany. They sat very defensive and waited for Germany to come on to them. Ultimately, Germany couldn't really break them down. And so Sweden now have got that test. Can they break this Poland side down quicker than Germany? Germany relied on some really good goals from Philippa Angeldal, from Jule Brands, and then obviously crossing the ball onto the head of Lea Schuler as well. But they both relied on individual quality. What Sweden need to do today is prove they can break teams down in the way that Germany haven't been able to at this tournament. And then I put them in a prime position to beat Germany on Saturday. That game does feel it'll be rather inconsequential, given whether you finish first or second. It's going to be a very difficult quarter-final matchup, with that being France, Netherlands or England. But yeah, let's get into the lineups for today's game then. This game being hosted in Lucerne, Switzerland, and we'll start with the Poland side. It's a 4-3-3 again for the Poles. In goal, Ginga Szemik. A back four of Matisik, I'm going to get this one right this week. Szymczak. We got a message in chat telling me how to pronounce that one. Vos and Wiankowska. A midfield of Achkinska, Havelek and Grabowska. And a front line of Krejciman, Pajor and Tomasiak. So some big calls in there. No Padilla, who was really important in that first game. No Dudek, who came off injured while having a brilliant performance in that first game. How much do those two hurt their chances here for Poland?
They're big misses. Firstly, with Padilla, I think that it'll be a frustrating one, because what Padilla gave Poland in that first game was a bit of support for Pajor. Someone else who could progress the ball. It wasn't just get the ball to Eva Pajor and hope, but Padilla was in there and linking up with her and helping out, and that was a huge part of their counter-attacking play. So that is a miss. And then to touch on Dudek, I think she had a really good 45 minutes, was very good at closing down Germany and keeping Lea Schuler quiet. However, I thought when Vos came on the second half, she was equally as good. So that is a miss that Dudek isn't in there. But I thought Vos is an adequate replacement for Dudek, and hopefully again tonight Vos can represent that. But for Poland, it's going to be about the same principles as the Germany game. Be solid, play deep defensive football, but when they get the opportunity, look to strike, look to come forward with Pajor, with that front three, get Krejciman involved as well, and see what happens. But we know they've got that counter-attack threat, especially with Eva Pajor. So Poland, they'll be hoping that they can hang on in there, and then when they get the opportunity to strike, they can take their chances tonight.
Yeah, and let's have a look then at the Sweden side. A 4-2-3-1 for Peter Gerhardsen's team. Peter Gerhardsen's team. In goal, it will be Falke back four of Lundqvist, Bjorn, Ilestedt and Nilden. In the pivot, it's Angeldal and Olma. On the right-hand side, Karnid. On the left-hand side, Yonogi, Captain Aslani in the 10, and Blackstenius leading the line. So 2 changes from last time out for Sweden. Still no Magdalena Eriksson, still no Fridolina Rolfo. Ilestedt coming in to replace Sembrant, who came in for Eriksson last time out. So looking at this Sweden side, though, quality across the board, they shouldn't have any problems tonight.
They shouldn't, but as we know, Poland can cause some problems for all sides, and I think that it's going to be a tough job tonight for Natalie Bjorn and Amanda Ilestedt coming back in for her first start in a very long time at any level of football. So great to see her back in the Sweden starting 11, but a big task up against Pajor. So it'll be interesting to see how those two balance it, but I think Natalie Bjorn had a really good game against Denmark and has had a brilliant season for Chelsea, so hopefully for Sweden's sake she'll be able to try and keep Pajor as quiet as possible. I think overall it's a big night for the front three. I wasn't impressed with either of them in that front line for Sweden. I thought Karnerid and Unogi had spells but were a little bit inconsistent. We didn't see Blackstenius at all in that first game against Denmark, so I'd like to see more from that Sweden front three, and hopefully they can offer a bit more threat and look to cause Poland some issues. But overall, I was mightily impressed with the Sweden midfield three. I thought Olma dictated it beautifully, and Angeldal and Aslani linking up in attacking areas was absolutely phenomenal. And in the end, it was the way that Sweden managed to find their goal, a lovely little combination between the two of them, and it just shows their class. And that's what it could take tonight. We saw when Germany played Poland, we saw it when Sweden played Denmark. A moment of magic could be what unlocks this Poland defence tonight. So it might be that someone like Angeldal, someone like Aslani has to step up and deliver a moment just to get the floodgates to open. But overall, I think it's a strong Sweden side, and as you say, they're hot favourites to win this game and to put themselves back into the knockouts.
Yeah, I think a lot of Sweden's performance tonight will rely on how effective their wide players can be. I think we saw some real glimpses from Karnerid, but then went missing for large portions of the game as well. I think we saw again glimpses from Yonogi, but a little bit of inconsistency. For Blackstenius, it was a rather different evening. Just went missing, I felt. Really disappointing performance. A player who we know can contribute immensely, but just didn't get involved. Wasn't really alert for Sweden. Wasn't really getting on the ball. So, yeah, I think it's a shame. I think Sweden need to create more chances, need to be more effective in those wide areas and look to deliver the ball.
Yeah, 100%. I think pace as well is going to be a massive factor, but it is just about keeping that pressure onto Poland. We saw how they're very good at crowding you out centrally, and that is why I think that Yonogi and Karnerid will be crucial tonight, because if Sweden can get that ball out wide and get those two to be crossing it in towards Blackstenius, cutting it back to Aslani and Angeldal on the edge, that's where Sweden can hurt Poland. I don't think they'll get much joy by trying to come through inside and run the ball through the centre, because Poland will just nullify it and they'll block it out. So Sweden, they need to drag Poland wide, stretch that back line out, and then look to get the balls into the box or cut it back, and that's how you're going to get your goals tonight. But yeah, just need to not rush it, not force it, but play with a good tempo. They slow it down too much. They'll allow Poland to get back into that rhythm and get back into that defensive shape. So it's important that Sweden keep the ball moving tonight, keep recycling it, and don't do what Germany did, which would be rigid and be a little bit stagnant. Sweden got to keep it moving, keep it fluid, and make sure that you don't allow Poland any time to rest, because, again, if relentless pressure, Poland will crack eventually. So it's just about keeping that pressure and keeping, putting that ball onto that Poland backline and keep asking them questions, because eventually you will find a route to goal. But Sweden, they'll be hoping that they don't make harder work of this, and even if Poland do put up a good fight, the quality in the Sweden side should have enough to get through. But who knows? This game could be thrown into a little bit of bother for Sweden if Poland counter and if Pajor can bury one of their chances. She had some really good opportunities against Germany that were denied brilliantly by Anke Berger. But if she gets those similar chances tonight, I could definitely see her finding the back of net, and that would make things a little bit difficult for Sweden. So yeah, I think we'll have to see how it goes. It's one of those where it really depends what level both teams are at. if Poland are as good as they were against Germany and Sweden are not at the level, then it will be a pretty close game. But if Sweden are on top form and Poland don't put up as much of a fight, then it could be a pretty convincing win for Sweden.
Yeah, looking at the Sweden changes as well, Nilden in the stead in for Sembrand and Anderson. Do you think that's to try and combat the transitional threat of Poland? We saw Germany really struggle to handle Pajor and the other Polish forwards. Do you think that's why they've gone for those slightly younger, slightly faster players?
Yeah, potentially so. I think it gives a good opportunity to rotate, but B, yeah, they have to take it game by game and realise where Poland's strengths are, and sometimes you do have to play to your opponent's strengths just to make sure that you can keep them quiet. But I think if Sweden can keep Poland quiet on the transition, then Poland will find it very hard to have any impact on this game. Because the only way they managed to hurt Germany, and their best form of defence actually, Poland, was getting the ball forwards and attacking. Because while they were coming forwards, it meant that they weren't under pressure. And that meant that they could just last a little bit longer. They still had the energy in the back line to keep going because they weren't under constant pressure. So it's important for Sweden to not let Poland turn the ball over, because if you get Krejciman or Pajor running at you, suddenly you could be in a spot of bother. So it's really important that Sweden... they've got to be aggressive and got to step onto Poland, but don't get caught out. Don't push too many people forward, especially in the early stages.
Yeah, nice. Phil, welcome to the stream. Let's get into predictions then. If you're watching along in the live chat, get involved in the live chat. Give us your score prediction. We're going to start here in the studio, though. And as always, Harry, I'm going to start with you. What is your prediction for today's game?
I'm expecting Poland to make a really good go of it again, and Sweden... They've got the quality, and I think that front three will step up in this match. I will go 3-0 Sweden. I think it will be a steely result from Poland for 40 minutes, but then it will be a Blacksenius goal just before the half to put Sweden in front. And in the second half, it will be a little bit more controlled from Sweden, and I think it will be goals from Reeting Carnereid, and I will go... Asllani to make it 3 and to open up an account for this tournament.
Nice, yeah. It'd be interesting if it clicks for Sweden tonight. I'm not so sure it will. I'm going to say Poland 1, Sweden 1. I think it's going to be another cagey affair. I think it's quite similar to last night's game where Belgium and Portugal were evenly matched. Italy and Portugal evenly matched for a while. Belgium weren't evenly matched with anyone. Well, they were for the first 45. But alas, similar to that Italy-Portugal game where it was so tight for large portions of the game. Then Italy got the goal and thought they were over the line. And then Portugal found that late equaliser to take their tournament to a final game. I think it'll be similar here. And while it shouldn't have much effect going forward, I think it'll be Sweden to take the lead. But it'll be in around the 67th minute through, I'll say, Angeldal again. Just the biggest goal threat for them at the moment. And then I think they'll get hit back by Poland late on, likely through Eva Pajor. And then that will take Poland's chances through to next week, where if they win and Germany win, they could well see themselves through if they can reclaim that goal difference. But Phil going 4-1, Sweden, Illichet, Asllani, Stina and Carnereid. And the Poland chat, 88% Sweden, 89% Sweden now, 9% going Poland, 3% going draw. So I'm very much in the minority with my prediction, but most people are expecting Sweden to do well tonight. Alex says, hope Wangerheim get some minutes. Yeah, linked with Chelsea Wangerheim. Intrigued to see how she performs if she does get on. And yeah, Sweden didn't use I don't think they used their bench very effectively last week either. Would be one of my complaints lobbied at them. Hopefully they can make some substitutions a little bit earlier in the game. They made 2 in the 66th, then 2 more in the 83rd, then another in the 90th. Just didn't really give anyone else an opportunity. I thought, especially with how ineffective the front line was. I mean, Blacksenius lasted all 90 minutes and didn't offer anything in any of the minutes.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I think that they got a bit fortunate, to be honest, that Denmark didn't go more aggressive in the opening game. They could have got caught out by that. But overall, I'd expect that Sweden will be smarter with it, and they'll be hoping that they can rest up and be out of sight by the time they want to be making sub. But they may be in a position where they need them. But this game will really be directed by how threatening Poland can be or in transition on the break. Because if they're as dangerous as they were in the Germany game, then this will be very competitive because they will look dangerous, and it will be up to because Germany had to rely on Berger to make some superb stops to keep it level at times. If Falk can't provide those, then Sweden could find themselves in a little bit of trouble. I was impressed by Nina Passadon and the changes she made in that Germany game and how the game management from Poland. So overall, I do think that Sweden will find those higher gears and will win this game. But I'm not saying that Poland can't make this competitive tonight.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Alex asking, how is Chelsea linked to all strikers when they're already stacked there? I think Mia Fischer's probably going to move on, and they're going to have a long-term option depending on what happens with Sam Kerr over the next few years. And to be fair, with Maya right now, I'm not sure she's going to stick around for too long unless she can start to perform more consistently. But that is a conversation for another day. Poland are going to get us started in this UEFA Women's Euro group stage match. Payor from the middle, waiting for the referee's signal. And then we'll get us underway. Referee blows the whistle, Payor knocks it back, and we're underway. It's match week 2 of Group C. Poland taking on Sweden with a place in the quarterfinals at stake. Sweden will confirm their progression in the tournament with a win tonight. Poland need at least a draw to keep it alive. If it's anything other than a Poland victory, then Denmark will be out. So not only can Sweden qualify themselves out, they could also knock out a Scandinavian rival, which I'm sure they would be keen to do. Poland playing out from the back here. Zemek into Pavelek, back to Zemek. Now Voss. Ball out to this left-hand side. Unable to keep it in play, though, is Tomasiak. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they can do without having Padilla in there, someone who was huge in being able to progress the ball for Poland.
Yeah.
Well, Lundqvist with the throw in then. Deep in their own half here. Sweden, ball forwards. Header won by Voss. And Angeldal bringing it down. Now they look to break down this left-hand side. Nilden. Janogy. Running out of space there a little bit, Janogy. And Nilden goes down under pressure. Janogy breaking down the left-hand side. Ball into the box. Cleared away. Janogy lashing one over the bar.
Really good play down the left-hand side from Janogy, linking up with Nilden and does well to pick up on the loose ball. The initial cross is very dangerous and it's well cleared by Poland. Was it Szymczak in there who got the touch away? Falls back to Janogy. And
just got to do better.
Yeah,
just got to keep it down. Just leans back and slices at it.
Yeah, she's fallen over and just slices it horribly wrong. But good start from Sweden, threatening. That's sharp from Janogy. You know, we didn't see too much of that in the first game, but if she can be dangerous on that left-hand side, it could be an area of danger.
Carnered, ball in, Aslani off the crossbar and then headed away by Szymczak. And again, Sweden going close, but no cigar.
Sweden have done their homework. Again, they turn it up hard the pitch and they get it out wide quickly. Carnered this time, crossing it in from the right-hand side. Aslani, it's not a bad header. Off the bar and out for a corner.
Yeah, she was reaching for it a little, so it's a bit of a floater.
But I
drop
tell you what,
crossbar and Matisic heading it out of play.
Sweden know exactly where they can hurt Poland tonight.
Aslani over this. Look at again the early advantage. Sweden ball into the box. That header not as desirable from Natalie Bjorn, and that's out for a Poland goal kick.
But I tell you what, 3 shots already in 3 minutes for Sweden. Not a bad start. It's exactly what they need to do.
So. But no good quality chances. I think this is what the problem Sweden had against Denmark, was creating decent chances. They had chances. Not many of them were high quality though, and the ones that were, Angeldal missed 2 and scored 1.
Yeah, be interesting to see how that progresses over the game.
Carnered drifting up to the left-hand side here, uses Nilden. Nilden pass inside. Now Angeldal tries to feed through Carnery, cut out there well by Szymczak, and that ball misread. Tomasiak dragged down.
And a very early
surely that will be, just say, that'll be a yellow card when it comes back. Ball one back by Sweden. Now they look to break down the right-hand side. Carnery, space to drive into, has to make something happen here. For Sweden, cuts it back. So I'm back by Grabowska. And now Poland can play. Pavelek trying to play it in behind. Cut out by Bjorn. The problem is Poland are trying to go super direct already tonight, but they're not they've not invited Sweden onto them enough yet. Carnereid looks to take it past the full-back. Does well. Angledal takes aim, but that is not a great effort.
Yeah, she didn't catch it quite right. But we've seen that she can certainly hit them. But again, we saw there how Sweden have got to be careful about Poland coming forwards. They got away with one, and then they end up having a chance of their own.
Yeah, Wiankowska just couldn't deal with Carnereid in there. He chopped it back rather nicely. But the ball into Angledal, and then Angledal's effort didn't result in anything. Did the referee come back and book?
No, I don't think so.
Oliver should have been.
Yeah.
Ball in behind here. Bjorn will deal with it under pressure from Payor. On back in there by Wiankowska. Achkinska. Lovely football. Wiankowska out of position here, but will keep driving it forward. Poland takes aim. A bit of a rash decision. Saved easily by Falk.
It is saved easily. It wasn't a great strike, but I don't mind that. She's picked it up in out of her position.
Hit the target, to be fair to her.
Probably could have laid it into Payor, but yeah, shot on target. Not a bad start. Just try and get your side into the game.
Olma. Carnereid, now Lundqvist. Back to Olma. Passing out wide. And Carnereid now looking to take players on. Gives away possession and then commits a foul. And already here, I think Poland growing a bit frustrated with the officiating. The fact that there wasn't that yellow card given earlier, and now Sweden for a second time prevent a Poland attack with quite a deliberate foul. Grosscut nudged down by Carnereid. First, Carnereid is so good at the difficult stuff, but makes the simple stuff look difficult. Yeah. Really technically gifted player, but off the struggles really to add goals and assists to her game. Great ball into Eva Payor. We have patches where she's just unplayable, but then others where she can't play. So it's just difficult to manage her. Poland coming forwards here. And Krejciman struggling to create anything on this right-hand side, and Olmark will send it forwards. Blacksenius picks up on the ball. Really good defending from Szymczak. Deemed to have been too aggressive there, though. And Sweden win a free kick in their own half.
Yeah, it was a weird one. It looked like she was going to jump on the back of her and barrel her over. But it didn't quite get to that stage. But I think it was just a little bit aggressive. But pretty frantic start. The ball is zipping about a lot.
Yeah, well, Poland trying to go super direct. Sweden then trying to expose Poland, trying to come forward. So it's moving end to end quite quickly. It's a quite fast-paced game.
Yeah.
Which is different to most of the other games we've seen recently, which have been quite cagey.
Oh, yeah.
Especially with a lot on the line. Whereas tonight, it feels like both sides just want to hit an early goal.
The whole of Matchweek 2 has been nervy in the majority of the games.
Yeah. Carnereid. Ball into the box. Poked away there by Matisik. Apart from Norway-Finland, where Finland were just dominant and Norway offered nothing and still won that match. Here's Janogy. Can carry this forward now. Has options down the line. Feeds one into Aslani. That was a risky tackle in there, but she got away with it. Szymczak, and then recovers the ball, and now they'll look to come away with it. Here's Grabowska. Pass across this left-hand side. Now to Masiak. Forward option not available. Back to Wiankowska. Down the line into Tomasiak. Under pressure. And that is a Poland throw.
Yeah, I think Poland will be happy. They're working their way into this game, and they're definitely got a foot in it.
Yeah,
and I think that the end-to-end stuff suits Poland more than it will suit Sweden.
It depends if Poland can take their chances.
Yes,
Really does. Because we've also not seen Poland hit on the counter. They were quite good at dropping into their mid block, and they have been already so far this evening. But they do get caught into the end-to-end nature of the match. We could see those gaps start to appear and their structure start to loosen.
Yeah.
Ilestedt. Now Bjorn. That's a Lundqvist. Now here's Carnereid. Slides a pass into Aslani. Carnereid. Wanting to take on Wiankowska. Just standing our player up really nicely. The Polish fullback now. Filip Angledal plays into a good area. Carnereid with a cut back. Dealt with really well by Ziemek. A good, strong save with the legs and pushes it out of danger as well.
Yeah. Quick footwork that, just to get it out of the box for Poland. Reacts well, but good play into the tight area that from Sweden on the right-hand side.
Ball slid looking for Karneryd. One back in there by Wiankowska. Up the line from Tomasiak. Pale trying to leech onto that loose ball. Ball in from Angeldal. And then cleared forwards. Here's Illestedt. Nilden. To Yanogi, who wants to take on Matasik. Great tackle from Matasik. And Yanogi just sprung down and up again. And the referee rushing in there. Not sure that was called for.
No.
Matasik and Yanogi with very limited afters. And the referee acted like it was a matter of life and death. It was just the way Yanogi fell over and managed to use Matasik to get herself back up again.
They just got caught together in a challenge, and they're smiling about it. Like
the ref thought it was about to kick off.
Yeah.
Alex says, it's Poland's first Euros and they look very confident. Yeah, there's two ways you can view your first European Championships. You can either view it as you've got nothing to lose, so go out, play your stuff, set up well, do your job, and see if you can get something from it. Or you can view it as, we've never been here before, this is really nervy, and we're not good enough. And it feels like Poland have definitely gone in with the mindset of we can compete here.
Yeah.
We can go in and get points. We can take teams like Germany and Sweden on at their own game. Well, set up to try and stop them playing the way they want to play. And they've been really disruptive so far. And you look at how Wales just offered nothing against the Netherlands. And tomorrow night could get messy.
Poland have...
Here comes Sweden, by the way. Karneryd to Angeldal. Falls over, recovers it well. Really good tackle then from Grabowska. And they'll look to move to this right-hand side. Krejciman, Matasik, Payor. Needs some support. Back out to the right-hand side with Krejciman, who held the width well. Passes it inside. Achkinska the target. Pavelek finds it. Achkinska now will look to switch the focus of this attack. Not dealt with adequately by Lundqvist and does put her under pressure here from Tomasiak, but does well to recover it. Olma, Lundqvist. Ball down the line. Now looking to break down this right-hand side, Karneryd. Up against Wiankowska. Tidy footwork. Can she deliver the cross? Not a bad ball. Yanogi can't quite meet it. And now they'll look to break. Pavelek doesn't get it clear. Blacksenis latches on that loose ball. Loses it though. Szymczak really quick to react. Central Watch of the Stream says who's most likely to win? Well, the Polish has 84% Sweden. So take that how you wish. But Poland have started well here, keeping them quiet. Chance now for Sweden! And Yanogi's header onto the bar. And that is now the third opportunity for Sweden that's gone close. Just not able to find the target, not able to find the opening goal.
Yeah, again, nice move building from Sweden. Good relentless pressure for a few minutes there. And again, the best chance comes when they get it out wide in those deep wide crosses that are hung towards the back post. Really hurt Poland. And Yanogi there going close once again. But you feel like eventually one of those is going to pay off. Good start from Sweden. 5 shots in the opening endeavours is not too bad at all.
Ball well held up by Krejciman. Nilden with a little bit of a rogue tackle. Doesn't come away with the ball or the player, really. Krejciman unable to latch onto that. Sweden cleared it desperately. But also Sweden playing real purpose here. Nice to see them playing fast. Yeah, definitely a marked improvement on how they played against Denmark. I think they're just unlucky to be matched up against a side who are really well structured. Though, as I say that, Sweden opening them up here. Really important interception there from Tomasiak, who recovered to fill the gaps left in midfield. And now Poland will play out from the back. Voss. Ziemek. Back to Voss. Lifting it over the top. Payor came in to receive the ball to feet though, so that ends up under no pressure at the feet of Amanda Illestedt. Now Bjorn. Out to the right hand side, Lundqvist. Karneryd. Now to Bjorn. Illestedt. Then that's a poor pass from Ulmer, and one back. It's pinged in behind. Payor will give chase. Out quickly though was Falk. And almost too direct there from Poland. Too much on that pass. They just wanted to go direct and they wanted to make it happen quickly. Lovely turn from Angeldal. Pass out to the right-hand side. Here's Lundqvist. Crosses it in and that is blocked by Pavelek. And now they'll look to break. Here's Ava Payor. Comes inside, switches the play. Krejciman's going to get there. Poland coming forwards. Needs some support here, Krejciman. Nilden stands her up. Can she create something? Ball being lashed around there. And it's Angeldal who comes away with it. Pokes it into Achkinska and then Matisik. Did that ball touch Angeldal on its way out? No, it didn't. That'll be a Sweden throw.
Been a really good fight so far. Really good battle. Fast-paced, counter-attacking stuff. It's been a really good 15 minutes from both sides. It's just going to take that moment of quality to find the breakthrough.
Strong first quarter of an hour at the moment. Attacks are only breaking down through Sweden missing chances and Poland sometimes just misplacing passes. But both sides are attacking with purpose. Both sides have defended well as well. So, yeah, really high-octane game so far. Enjoyable watch. Here's Carnery. Tomasiak gets in there well and recovers the ball. Poland now looking to break. Grabowska. Here's Tomasiak. Up against Carnery. Recovers really well there. Joanna Ritting Carnery. Got back in there well. Here's Voss. Not that to Blackstenius, who gets back in well. Can she get a shot away? Across to Janogy. What an important interception from Matisik.
What a mistake from Voss, but how is Blackstenius not punished?
Now to the right-hand side. Here's Krejciman. Matisik. Janogy gets back in there, knocks out of play. I think both sides are looking a little laboured after the 30th minutes. It's been so fast-paced. No one's really had a break. Piss going up to the stream says, come on, I want my Rolpo upgrade. I assume that is a FIFA thing.
Does she still get the upgrade even if she doesn't play?
Yeah, it's just a team upgrade, I assume. But yeah.
Tell you what, it's become a really difficult game because I thought we'd see similar pattern to the Germany-Poland game where Sweden would be on top and Poland would just be sitting deep and then countering. But no, it's been really competitive. End-to-end stuff.
Grabowska Wiankowska into the box. Krejciman gets there, brings it down, unable though to pounce on it. Now it's back to Voss. Poland on the halfway. Szymczak. Voss. Uses Shemek. Trying now to find a direct ball. They love those vertical balls. Payor heads on. Falls to Nilden unopposed though. Now she's looking for a forward pass. Olma. Angeldal. She's looked excellent in this Sweden side. Philip Angeldal. You look at how City fell apart this season. You wonder just how much of a role she could have played in preventing that. Just how much they missed her. Poland now looking to break away after that attack. Falters for Sweden. Krejciman. Matisik. Achkinska receives under pressure. Does so well to squeeze a pass to Pavelek. Out to this left-hand side. Here's Tomasiak. And she'll go direct with it. But I'm not sure Krejciman's going to be able to do much about that. Put much pressure on it. Sweden can play out again. Olma. Now Angeldal. Finds Aslani, who receives it well in the half space. Great defending from Tomasiak. And a good bit of bite between the two of them. Lundqvist in strong as well. Now they'll look to break away. Runs into her teammate, who's on the floor in discomfort. And that can't have helped.
No. And Aslani feeling the effects of that one and going down holding her head. Not sure there's too much wrong with it though. I think it was just aggressive and assertive from Powalek. I'll have a look here though. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Fine. Tomasiak being strong, Lundqvist also being strong, ends up then with nowhere to go as she is halted by Aslani. Aslani hits the ground hard, but nothing wrong with the actual challenge. It was a clean attempt for the ball. Just looking to be combative in there.
Yeah. But yeah, plenty on the mind of Petter Gerhardsen. I think he would have hoped to see his side have a little bit more control in this game and potentially, be on top. But Poland are certainly in this game.
It says Poland aren't parking the bus like they did against Germany, or am I tripping? Well, it's just different because Sweden aren't. Poland are playing as transitional as they played against Germany. The difference is Sweden aren't just camping in the opposition half, waiting to break them down. They're moving the ball much quicker, so Poland are struggling to keep up with that. And you're breaking down this left-hand side. Matasic with a great tackle. And the other thing about Poland, it's not like the other defensive sides of this tournament who've just resorted to attacking their opponent, fouling them, shoving them on the floor, getting yellow cards. Poland have been clean with all their challenges. They're just assertive and strong and really physical. And I like that they've not resorted to just... I mean, we watched Iceland the other night and it was unwatchable because all they did was every time Switzerland tried to break, they'd just smash into someone.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why they're out of the tournament. They never really looked to try and score. They just went round beating people up. Coming down the left-hand side here, Tomasiak wanting to find the run of Eva Payor. Ambitious pass, though, cut out by Bjorn and headed out of play by Viankowska. Now they come forward, Sweden. Karnarid looks dangerous. Pass, though, misplaced. Janogy and Matasic competing for it. Viankowska sees it out. Smashes out of play. Under pressure from Aslani.
Not a bad decision, that, just to get it out and relieve some pressure.
Because Sweden attack from wide, but Poland know they can defend their box well.
Yeah.
I say that is famous last words. Could be famous last words. Sweden looking to deliver a ball into the box now. Angeldal along the floor. Blackstenius, that's an important block. Voss gets a body on the line. Though actually, I'm not sure it touched her.
Brilliance from Angeldal in the wide area. Lovely little just burst to spin.
Blackstenius just really well to get in front of Voss there. It's such a poor shot.
Yeah.
Has to get over the ball there.
It had the pace.
And hit the target. Janogy going down on a chance from Matasic. That's a dubious one, but Sweden awarded a free kick. Janogy didn't need much invitation there to hit the deck.
No, she didn't. I think she was just caught. An opportunity now for Sweden to swing this ball in from deep. And again, this has been where Poland have been hurt a little bit. Is these in these deep wide areas when the ball gets hooked up in the air. But the Poland fans are trying to give the side that extra boost.
And perhaps distract the Swedes.
Yeah.
From scoring. Aslani lifting into the box, into a dangerous area. Header up in the air from Ilestedt, but not sure there was much purpose or direction behind that one. Looping over the bar.
Yeah, just got under it and ended up heading it directly upwards.
More of a defensive header.
Yes.
Than an attacking one. She'd gone ahead of the ball with the run. So then just ends up trying to flick it over her head. Didn't work. Voss, great switch to play into Matasic, who brings it down well. Pass forwards, doesn't come off. Sweden will come forwards now. Aslani, Blackstenius, one back in there by Pavelek. And now what can she do with the ball? Lifts it over the top, looking for Payor. Great intervention from Bjorn, who stepped onto that aggressive front-foot defending. But does well. Now looking to create an attack of her own. Finds Aslani, who wriggles past Achkinska, not without difficulty. Now it's the left-hand side. Janogy. Touch the skates for a little. Now she'll bring it close. Can she take on Matasic? Does well. Ball into the box. Up to the back post. And Angeldal having to battle away for it. Does really well to recover it. Good defending from Wiankowska, though, who can now drive this ball forward for Poland. And they've got numbers to the right-hand side if she can pick someone out with a pass. Smashes it forwards, though, and instead heads it down to Bjorn. Wasted counter-attacking opportunity there for the Poles. Wiankowska tried a pass, she just couldn't quite pull off.
But again, I like that Poland are trying to take that on and play that way, even if it doesn't come off.
But there was easier ways to just knock that along the floor.
There was, yeah.
And suddenly Poland, they had a numerical advantage. You don't need to try and create one by switching the play so aggressively.
Yeah.
Trashy man. Nice turn. Nilden just holding her in place. Pavelek. Back to Voss. Now Zemek. Sends it forwards. Grabowska nods it on its way to Tomasiak, who, despite being fouled, finds a pass to Pajor. Will be a Poland free kick.
Yeah, just a little bit too aggressive for Lundqvist, who has struggled a little bit tonight with Tomasiak on that left-hand side. But again, positives for Patel on the side in the first 25 minutes.
Zemek. Now Voss. Flicked on in there by Tomasiak. Pajor trying to get there. Still competing for it over Pajor. And now knocks it to Achkinska. Crazy man. Can't quite find a pass inside. One back does well to take it off Janogy though. Somehow Janogy comes away with it again. Crazy man on her back commits the foul. Sweden free kick.
Yeah, I think Sweden, front three wise, very similar to Denmark game. How they've all shown some sparks and some, some pieces of good play, but nothing really like concrete, and it's not not consistent good play.
Yeah.
They just need to build. They need some consistency for the Sweden.
Janogy. There's a foul in there on Pajor. Poland free kick.
Yeah, a bit of a late one, but probably the right decision. Pajor just got caught there by Nilden. Good opportunity for Nilden because it's not been a great season domestically for her, and an opportunity to feature in the national side is a good chance for her potentially to get some minutes under her belt, get into some form, and have a decent summer at the very least.
Yeah, obviously didn't start the first game. It was Joanna Anderson in that one. I think she looked a little bit off the pace. Nilden's come in, looked comfortable so far.
Obviously, Rolfo will be back soon, and that.
Well, she tends to start left wing for Sweden.
She does.
So I think we'll see her go into and replace Janogy's role, but maybe she'll play left back if Janogy can impress. But Nilden's got an opportunity tonight to sort of nail down that starting spot. I think handed the chance, has to grab it with both hands.
100%.
Show why she deserves to start. Here's Philippa Angeldal. Laying it into Aslani. Aslani lifts in the box. Blackstenius. There's the goal. Sweden couldn't find an opportunity, couldn't provide the final touch. But now Aslani lifts it into the box. Blackstenius heads home from close range. Poland carved open a little easier than they would have liked. Really tidy football from Sweden. And Blackstenius failed to contribute in the opener, but coming up with a big and important goal in this one.
Lovely stuff from Aslani in tight areas, and then the movement from Blackstenius is absolutely superb. It's the biggest part of her game for Blackstenius is her movement, and it's really good from Sweden down the right hand side. It's a great flowing move.
Angeldal.
As well. And then Blackstenius just drops off here into the space, finds herself open, and heads it past Zemek. Really good movement from Blackstenius, and a lovely little dink ball in from Aslani. Zemek can get a hand to it, but that's about it. And Sweden deservedly lead.
As you say, she just drags Szymczak out of position there and creates the space for herself. It's really smart stuff from Stila Blackstenius. For Angeldal, really tidy ball down the channel into Aslani. Again, great timing of the run, and her cross was exactly what Blackstenius needed to head home at close range. Poland 0, Sweden 1. But it's Poland coming with the ball here. That's pulled back for a free kick.
And this is where this going to test Poland's mettle. Can they hang in there and make sure they've still got a chance of getting something from the game, or will Sweden now get control and look to add a few more goals to their tally? These are big moments for Poland's hopes of staying in the tournament at the very least, because it was going to be a tough ask to get something from the game tonight, but now they have to find a goal as well and come from behind.
Ball into the box, and that is a good claim from King Ajemic. And now they look to break down this right-hand side. Payor taking on Aslani, both pulling at each other's shirts. And that was 50% of one, half does the other. Aslani brandished a yellow card for it, though.
Oh,
And Payor gets Poland a free kick.
I feel for Aslani because I'm not sure she's done too much wrong there. And I think that's very smart forward play from Payor.
Yeah, it is. I think they're both in the wrong. Payor grabs Aslani, Aslani grabs her back.
Aslani for me has not done anything wrong there at all.
I'd broadly agree it's not a booking.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those where they're both pulling the shirt, let it play. No one's committing a foul more than the other one is.
Yeah, even so, Payor's got a whole chunk of her shirt and just drags her back. Aslani has a few, it fails, to be honest, to grab her.
Hatchkinska putting it into the box. No one able to meet it. Ultimately, coming to nothing that ball.
They got presented with an opportunity and just punted it straight back to Sweden. That would be disappointing for Poland.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just need to settle down again, because if not, Sweden will just get control, will take control and dictate this game now. Poland just need to dig in, and then when they get the opportunities to start to come forward and get back on that counter-attack threat.
Do you think Poland have missed Kamczyk? I'm surprised to see her not start. Grabowska preferred.
I thought Grabowska came on and did really well.
Yeah, no, Grabowska's done well in this game. I'm just saying, Kamczyk more of a creative player, a bit more of a ball carrier. I think without Padilla as well on there, they are just missing someone to link up with Payor.
They just need something. They're missing that link to put it all together. It's good from defence to midfield, and then they get it and then they need someone to get it from midfield into that danger zone. And at the moment, no one's really doing that. Neither Tomasiak or Krejciman are getting involved in that kind of role, which is really hurting Poland.
Yeah, ball lifted forwards, picked off in midfield by Zigiotti. Olma now out to the left-hand side. You can't get there. And now Poland will look to break. Well kept on by Tomasiak back onto her favoured right side. Well, actually, it's deemed to have gone off the field. I'm not sure.
That's sloppy.
I don't think it went off, though.
I know, but the fact she was anywhere near that touchline, just the first touch really wasn't good enough.
Yeah, yes.
But, yeah, I think she was unfortunate, but she shouldn't have been anywhere near that.
Nilden down the line. Really good hold-up play from Stina Blackstenius. Now, can she tie a teammate into this? Well, she's going to have to go alone now. Forced into the corner. Pavelek gets it clear. Nilden trying to keep this alive as Sweden move. That's still very much on the pitch. Again, not sure how the ref has given that as gone off. It's quite clear still on the line. One back in there by Matisik. Now that one has gone because that's almost hit Nida Padalov. Nilden with a throw and asked to take it a little further back. Yeah, she tried fairly cheekily to gain herself 20 yards there.
Yeah, she's not players get away. It's that and foul throws this tournament. Players have got away with a lot. We've seen some.
There was one earlier where a player was asked to take it back and then just carried it and just went up the line another 20 yards.
Yeah. Dropped it for a teammate, and then obviously her teammate didn't get told to go anywhere. But yeah, sides have been stealing a lot of yards. Yeah, nothing coming of that. I think pretty unfortunate for Sweden to not get the corner.
But it just contributes to the inconsistency in the officiating we're talking about, where they've been really soft on that, but really firm on other issues, and it's just led to a lot of stop-start games. That's how to play for a Poland throw, and Wiankowska. I think the best games of the tournament are the ones that have been allowed to flow by the referees.
Yeah.
I thought Germany-Denmark earlier was really good. Obviously, the second half was a bit different because there was a few injuries and even the ref picked up a knock. But broadly, that game ran really well and Campos has done really well at this tournament. But the other refs have been quite poor. Carnoid into a dangerous area. Black says, gets under control, takes aim! And how has that not gone in wide of the mark from Black Stenius? Has to hit the target there. Has been given a corner though. Must have taken a touch on opponent player.
Yeah, she was convinced. Carnoid, great ball in. What a touch that. Yeah, big deflection.
Okay, fair enough. That would have been on target. Voss with a block. I take back my comments.
I'll say, yeah, a slight nick which would have taken that just past the post. Not bad for Black Stenius. Looks so much better. So much better. Chance for Aslani just to pile the pressure on Poland here.
And while the Swedish fans trying to get them going, there's once again pushing in the penalty area. As the Polish players try and double up on the threat posed by Amanda Lillestead. Ball into the box, pushed away. Almost one golden boot the last World Cup, if you remember rightly. Amanda Lillestead, there's been a foul there on Ziemik. That will be a free kick for Poland.
Forgot about that. She's a brilliant, just kept scoring from corners.
She scored in every game that she played, I think. Or something ridiculous like that.
Such a from corners. But yeah, I say I love the inflatable batons that the Sweden fans have got.
Yeah.
And just bang it.
They're so anti-violence over there. They've got, even their batons are inflatables.
It's a really smart way of making noise. It's not annoying, but it means you don't have to bring a drum or anything.
Black Stenius. Into the box, head away. Yeah, but it could also pop.
It could, but again, they're not going to hit that hard, are they? Because,
True. Well, they accidentally hit a sharp object. Into the box, Carnereed tries to find Aslani. That looks like a foul to me. Ref will let it play. And Poland now could break away with the ball. Lift that to this wide space. Payor will try and get there. It just runs a little too long.
Lack of service for Ewa Payor today is really letting Poland down. Because they're just not breaking up that pressure like they were against Germany. Like, every now and again they'd have 2-3 minutes where it was Poland coming forward.
And when they do, it's a 1-on-3 up there for Payor at the moment. Whereas in the Germany game, often she was isolated against one of the two centre-backs. So they would then carry it forwards and then scrap away with them until a support came.
Issue for Matashik here.
Yeah. Matashik just clashing heads with Yanogi, both down holding their heads. Seems Matashik though has come off the worst, with now needing an ice pack to her head. Yanogi just looking a little bit dazed.
But yeah, credit to seeing Black Stenius. Looks like a different player compared to the striker that we saw take the field against Germany. This was a really well taken head up to nod it on past King of Ziemik. And obviously has had a couple of opportunities as well that I think she's done well with. And has, forced some good blocks or saves from Poland. But good for Black Stenius to open up her account for the tournament.
Yeah, I think both sides are appreciating this impromptu interval in this first half. It's been a high intensity fixture so far. Both sides competing physically. And while Matt is sick, we'll have to go off momentarily for receiving treatment, but it seems she'll be okay to continue. Just trying to regain her bearings.
Yeah. But I don't think not a bad half for Poland. It's important now that they do, make it through the next 7-8 minutes to the to the half time, to the interval.
Sorry, I had no clue where you were going with that.
Forgot what half time was.
Ball lifted over the top. Aslani trying to chase it down. Voss sees it out well. The question is now, what is Poland's push intention here? Do they go and try and get a goal before the break? Or do they just remain a little more conservative and try and get in at half time with the score salvageable in the second half?
Yeah, I think because a point will do to at least keep them alive. It'll be a big ask in Matchweek 3, but it would be enough. I think the position they're in now...
Would it be a big ask, though?
Yeah.
Can they not beat Denmark? And could Germany not beat Sweden? Or
I guess it's only a -2 goal difference, isn't it? To be
they
fair.
weren't tanked. And if Germany would have beat Sweden 2-0, I mean, the moment Poland would be out, they've got to find a goal at some point in this game. If they could level it, it's not as much of a sort of like 99% chance, 1% faith situation as the Portugal group is, because Portugal hit 5 to Spain.
Yeah.
And so they need to make up a 6-goal differential to Italy.
I think their best bet is to just keep it tight, and in the latter stage of the game, keep it at 1-0, and in the latter stage of the game, go for it. And if they keep it tight, they may get a main opportunity might come up for them. They might get a foray forwards and find the back of the net.
Tomasak fighting away for it. Yanogi deemed to be too aggressive there in her pursuit of possession, so that will be a free kick. No, free getting in a jog here to talk to Yanogi. Oh no, Nilden, who's down, holding her thigh,
which is, I mean, it's already been strapped up, and it has been a bit of an inconsistent season for Nilden with injuries, and this would be a shame given the opportunity to start for the national side tonight.
Injuries and being part of Tottenham's defence.
Yeah, it's not really
both symptoms of inconsistency. That.
I mean, she's unlucky there because she hasn't actually. That's not. I mean, the Yanogi one's a bit more of a foul. But yeah, it'd be disappointing to see her have to come off injured, but she's back to her feet, and
hopefully we'll be all right to continue.
No, she won't. So we are going to see a change for Sweden.
So Anderson ready to come back on. She started the opening game. Gerhardsson fancying a change of personnel in the left full-back position. But I don't think that's going to last beyond the first half here as Anderson is warming up. Poland have got to use this though. Sweden down to 10 momentarily.
Yeah, it feels like I think Nilden will come in and maybe fill the slot till half-time if she can.
Pavelek trying to go out to the left-hand side. Cut out by Angeldal. One back in there by Grabowska. Aslani comes away with it. Now here is Carnereid. Into the channel for Angeldal. Waiting for some support here. Lundqvist lifts into the box. Headed away by Šimčák.
Cleared away well. Poland just got to hang in there. Last few minutes of this first half. It's crucial that they don't go 2 goals down.
Good hold up from Aslani. Now Yanogi trying to find a way through there, but can't.
Yeah, well defended that. And then Šemek can sweep. Yeah, Poland, again, I've been impressed in this first half. Only a goal to 0 down and have been more aggressive. I think I'm impressed by the fact that they've come out and been more positive. But have still only, they haven't been torn apart. Yes, they've conceded, which they didn't do against Germany, but that's also a credit to Sweden being, more deadly than Germany were. So the fact that Poland have come out, they've been more positive, more aggressive, and are still in the match is a good thing.
Sweden being not as possession dominant as Germany has benefited them against Poland. Backstander is in, just makes a mess of it. All the time in the world, one-on-one with the goalkeeper. Poland caught out. And Blackstone misses. Voss here carried the ball forwards. Her pass there just picked off by Natalie Bjorn. And Blackstone may have been deemed offside, but still, 1-on-1 with the keeper. How many times have we seen her do this for Arsenal this season? 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper. Can't take a chance.
Yeah, it's a good stop from Šemek. Good use of the feet. And just about extends that leg out to deny that Senius. But yeah, just tries to side foot it in the near post.
Nilden over this corner then, so perhaps not feeling the injury as badly as first feared. In towards the near post, tries to flick it on in there. Falls now for Bjorn, who strikes it well, but a foray of bodies blocking her path to goal. Now Angeldal. Can she deliver the ball? Achkinska chasing her down, goes down under pressure from Philip Angeldal. Angeldal miffed as to help. She conceded a foul there.
Yeah, a little bit too handsy that from Philippa Angeldal. But the ball spilled out and protected the opportunity there. But Sweden couldn't take it.
Yeah. Nigel, welcome to the stream. Says, yes, lads, missed Germany, Denmark earlier, so I was busy, but I knew I had to get on after I got home. Well, thank you for joining us, Nigel. You join our stream. What's been a very decent first 45 here. Ball into the box. Blackstone meets it over the bar.
Chances are coming now for Sweden striker. She's already got one tonight, and now that is 2 misses in a couple of minutes. But great ball. Really good ball from Carnered. Perfect area. Again, brilliant movement from Blackstenius. Just manages to drop behind Szymczak in there.
Can't quite get over the ball. Well, the Poland fans find the guy celebrating that instead they've scored themselves. Because that would have really been a mountain to climb if Poland had conceded there. They've got to get into the break now. Towards the end of the half, it's just opened up too much for Sweden. And well, they're coming forwards again now. Aslani to Carnered. Lovely chop back. And again. Can she deliver the ball? No. The crucial touch missing. Lundqvist into a good area. Claymore by Šemić. 3 minutes of additional time in this first half. Ball going long. Payor will get there. Can she bring a teammate into play here? Jostling away for possession. Should be Poland ball, and it is.
Needs some help up there, Payor. And that's the thing, without a Padilla or a Kamčić, she's just got no support.
Ball down the line here, looking for Tomasiak. Can't quite keep it in. Nigel says, Miss Angledale at City. Yeah, I mentioned earlier, I feel like you look at City's lack of balance in midfield this season. How different could that have been if they'd managed to retain Philip Angledale?
Very good player. Made a difference in Matchweek 1 and has looked very tidy tonight. Minogi again in a battle, but Poland have turned it over well. Tried to poke the ball through to Payor and just didn't get there.
There's a foul there on Angledale.
Frustration that from Payor because she's not had the service that she thrived on in the Germany game. Just not got anyone up there to help her out or get the ball into her, which is hindering Poland's chances of scoring because they've just not had the same chances. But the Sweden fans are enjoying themselves. And backing up our point in that shirt there, soft hooligans on the back of one of the Swiss shirts.
Yeah.
That's one hell of an oxymoron. Not an oxymoron.
Tomasiak.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oxymoron fits. Now Poland coming down this left-hand side. Kreshiman comes inside, can't pose a threat. Viankowska into the right area. Falk, though, rising high, claiming well.
That's what it needs. Getting those direct balls into Eva Payor. Yes, she's committed a foul and Falk got there first, but that's not going to happen every time tonight. Got to get Payor more service. Well defended by Ilstedt, to be fair. And I now understand Payor's complaints actually as to how that is a foul because Payor's too busy being pushed away by Ilstedt.
Yeah. Nigel says Scarcella has blood in his hands. The amount of time we've had that he's wasted his diabolical shot. We didn't sack him earlier. I'd argue he shouldn't have been sacked at all, to be honest. Timing was weird on that one.
Petter Hartenberg hasn't moved all half.
He was stood up at one point when Anderson was getting ready.
Oh yes, that is true.
Matt just wanted to gap off the bench for a bit.
But he doesn't look happy, does he, for a manager that's winning?
He won't be happy until they've won it all. Foul there. Yanogi Dean to a foul. Matasic. That one. Slightly confusing decision.
It's been a really weird game. Again, neither side.
Yanogi's just spun her. A bit of a trip.
Yeah.
Looked like a spin where Matasic had just fallen over because she looked to press over. That is half time. Poland 0, Sweden 1. The goal from Stina Blackstenius proving decisive thus far. Poland put up a good fight, but Sweden have overwhelmed in attacking areas and found the goal well. And that means that at the break, Sweden lead by a goal to 0.
Yeah, good half by Sweden. Positive from Poland, but Sweden with the advantage, and deservedly so. They've looked much more dangerous and have packed a punch when they've come forwards and looked a lot better. than they did against Denmark. I've been impressed with the front three. I think Unogi's looked sharper. Carnereid has been much more dangerous. We've seen a lot more of the Carnereid chop than we did in match week 1. And obviously, Stina Raxenius getting that goal and could have potentially had a couple more. But yeah, a good half of football overall, to be honest. It was.
Yeah.
It's gone against the norm. We've seen a lot of these match week 2 games where it's been really where when there's been a lot on the line, it's been a really cagey affair. But both sides are playing flowing football, positive football, and that has rewarded us with a really entertaining first 45 minutes. And while Poland have conceded, I think they've still done well to be offensive, but also not get torn apart. And credit to Sweden because. Yes, Poland have been more open, but Sweden have still done well to cause them issues and to come forward with intent because they've looked much stronger than they did against Denmark. They found it difficult to break Denmark down, but against this Poland side, Sweden have played much better and have found a lot more joy getting the ball out wide and crossing it in. It's how they got their goal. Blackstone had another header there that just went over the bar, but they're getting joy down the left, down the right, getting it wide, and then just crossing it in. And it's paid off once, and at this rate, it'll probably pay off maybe a couple more times in this game.
Yeah, it's been they found Blackstone in behind really effectively, and she's dangerous in those areas. She's just missed again. I feel like she's lacking clinicality, and it's been a problem that's plagued her really throughout her career, especially on the club stage, but. They've had a few chances tonight, Sweden. They've not really taken 5 big chances.
Wow.
And only 1 goal. That, for me, just isn't good enough. As strong a position as they're in, that the problem is when you look at them going forward in this tournament, they've got to take those opportunities. 12 shots, only 2 on target. And that's the problem with the Black Stars. At times, you get really good movement and decisive movement that gets her a goal. And others... you might have the movement there and she misses, or the movement isn't quite there, or she lacks the composure in front of goal. So positive that she got that goal, but she could have had 3 in that first half at least. So I feel like Sweden will be concerned by that lack of clinicality. There were so many opportunities. This game should be out of sight now. And they've just left that door wider than they would have wanted. There's a little crack there. And if Poland can just find that margin, can just turn the game in their favour a little, they might be able to find a goal in the second half. That will be the problem. They've left this game open enough that Poland could come back in. This game should be dead and buried. They should have found the goals, really.
Yeah, they should have. I think that it's positive that they are being creative. I think that does have to be said because, for instance, Germany have really struggled this tournament to create high quality chances.
Absolutely. I think especially on the right hand side, Carnereid, Aslani, and Godal have all linked up really effectively down there. So that deserves huge praise. Sweden have come forward really effectively. They've just not finished the chances off enough, I don't think.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And I think that is the difference potentially between Sweden being a really good side and a top side. Because a top side would, with the chances that Sweden have had tonight, would probably be 3 or 4 up.
You give Lea Schuler the service that Blackstone has had, and she'd have 3 or 4 goals.
100%.
And if you get, but she just hasn't had that service at this tournament. But overall, they've played really well. Sweden, Poland haven't been able to offer as much threat coming forward as they did against Germany. Again, Sweden much better defending transitions. I think putting in Nilden and Illichet, who are a bit quicker than Sembrant and Anderson, was really important. And we've seen Pale having to chase the ball down the channels rather than fighting for it in the middle like we saw against Germany. So Sweden have definitely done really well to put Poland under the cosh more. Again, though, the same issue they had against Denmark is just a lack of clinicality, lack of being able to put chances away consistently. And I think they should get out of the group stage now. They should see this game out. But as we move forwards in the tournament, how are they going to remedy that? Because that's a personnel issue. That's players that just aren't finishing chances. They're creating them adequately, but they're not putting them away with enough consistency for me.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I think if they get to the quarterfinals, they are going to face one of France, England, or Netherlands. You have to be clinical against those kind of sides. Or Wales. Let's not count them out just yet.
We count them out tomorrow night.
Yeah, but you have to be clinical against those kind of sides. And I think that it has been better tonight than it was against Denmark, but plenty of room for improvement, which isn't a bad situation to be in. You know, that you don't want to peak too early and then suddenly you've got nowhere to go. But at least the chances are there, and on another day, maybe they would have scored a few more. But they're playing well, and they've done well to kind of get Poland out of rhythm. What Germany didn't do was that they allowed Poland to be settled out of possession. They allowed Poland to sit deep and stay in their structure. What Sweden have done is done much better at pulling Poland apart. Again, that comes from getting the ball out wide and to linking up in those channels, and the midfield have conducted this game really nicely.
They've just moved the ball faster. The difference between the two sides is that Sweden, it's 1-2 touch football.
Yeah.
It's linking up really effectively with wide triangles, especially down the right-hand side angle. Asllani, can't read, lots of fluidity in there, lots of quick combinations down that right-hand side, and they're breaking into that space to cut balls across the box or lift one into the box or create an opportunity. So really impressive football. It's just now applying that finishing touch. And so, yeah, Sweden look decent. Sweden look really good. I think that the fact that they've made it difficult for both the sides they've played against now to score has been really impressive. I think if you're looking at them taking on Germany on Saturday, a side who've really struggled to break teams down at this tournament, you think back to all 4 of their goals, they've come because of individual errors from the opposition players. In the Poland game, there was it's not an individual error, so it was an individual brilliance from the Germany player. Brand cuts inside, has a shot. Today we saw a penalty and Denmark clearing the ball into their own players, and that's how Germany profited. If Sweden avoid stupid mistakes and defend like they are at the moment and can control games the way they are at the moment, they'll be all right. But the problem is that they're going to see on Saturdays, if they don't take their chances, they may go on to be punished later in the game.
Yeah.
But in this one, we've seen Sweden play really well, and they've taken a chance that puts them in front. Now I want to see them push on and really make a statement in the second half.
I think, and for Poland, I think that you have to. Admittedly, they've ridden their luck a little bit, and they have counted on Sweden missing a few of those chances. But overall, I think they've looked pretty positive. I think that to only be 1-0 down is not a bad situation to be in, saying the amount of chances Sweden have had, and it means that they only need to get a goal, and they will keep themselves in the tournament at least until Saturday. So that's positive for Poland, but there's a lot of work to do. I think they're massively missing Padilla to progress that ball and just to be that final link between the midfield and Payor. But if they can get the service to Payor in the second half, then they could really cause Sweden some problems. But as you say, I think it's more credit to Sweden as to how strong they look defensively. That they're playing very well, so they look really well balanced, and it's a difficult side to play against. So credit to Poland because I think they've given it a real good go. And I feel like I owe them an apology because I criticised how they got here after they lost every single game in qualifying and then managed to rescue it in the playoffs. But they had a good Nations League period, and so far across 135 minutes of football, they've competed with 2 of the best sides in the world. So it's not bad going at all. And
put up a really good fight.
Yeah, and I think it's not been an easy group. That's the thing. They've got their teeth stuck into a difficult group. If they're in Group B, then I think that yes, that they would have also would give them credit, but it would have been weaker opposition. Whereas in this game, in this group, they've played Germany and Sweden and really got involved, really put a cat amongst the pigeons, and made it very, very difficult for one of the favourites and for one of the dark horses to get through. And who knows, maybe they can find something in the second half that will keep them in the tournament. But even if they are to go out tonight, Poland, I think there's a lot for the players and the fans to be proud of.
Yeah, and Nigel says, also don't know if I'm being harsh, but I expected more from Poland. I think Poland have played well. Poland have done exactly the same as they did against Germany. The difference is Sweden have been much better than Germany were in that match. Sweden have moved the ball much quicker. They've created chances. And yeah, I've been really impressed with the manner in which they've played. Ryan, tune up to the stream with a classic high full stop. Good to see you, Ryan. And we're doing great, mate. Loving the Euros at the moment. The constant streams, the daily streams. It's great to be live all the time. It's great to see you guys in chat. It's it's been a really great tournament so far. Long may it continue. And yeah, we've got a moment or so for kicking off in the second half. So if you've got thoughts on that first 45, feel free to drop them in the live chat and we'll go through them. But Second half will be underway shortly. Still, poll in chat up to 200 votes now. 84% think Sweden will win, and I think that was justified in their performance in that first half.
Yeah, and Sweden will probably, we expect Sweden to kick on in the second half and put them, if they get into a comfortable position, they can rotate, get some use through the whole squad and look to focus on the game against Germany, which will be to take on, to determine who tops the group. And I think that although whoever they get is going to be difficult, it does look like topping the group could mean they avoid France and play one of England or Netherlands, which I think is much more favourable based on how they both played in their opening matches. Obviously, England, we know, can play better and probably will play better across the tournament, and Netherlands did look good in the second half. So, as I said, neither side's an easy game, but when you look at Group D, if I'm Sweden, I would much rather finish top, avoid France, and then play one of England or Netherlands, which would be, I think it's more favourable. It's still difficult, and obviously France may not top Group D. I mean, they're in a very good position to do it now, but they may not do that. But I think that Sweden will want to top the group, make sure they play second in Group D, and put themselves in a decent position. Either way, they're on the. If they top it, they'll actually be on the more, for me, I think they'll be on the more favourable side of the knockouts, which is even big. Yes, they'll have to play a tough side in the quarters, but they'll get they will play Norway or whoever finishes second in B. So there's positives to take for if they can win tonight, get the result, see the result over the line, beat Germany on Saturday. So I think they'll back themselves to do well across their next game and now to. If they can take 9 points from 9, then they look like a really strong outfit.
Yeah, Golden Sweden says, how that performance from Sweden, JRK, very dangerous. Couldn't agree more, mate. She's looked very good. Conrad's really promising first half. Hope we can start seeing more of that in a Chelsea shirt. And we've seen these performances before from Conrad, just never sort of has that consistency. Johannes up to the stream says, what are Sweden doing differently than Germany in the midfield specifically to create more chances? Well, so the midfield functions quite differently for Sweden than Germany's does in structure. So Germany's is very much two more defensive deep line midfielders, and then one attacking midfielder. And often that manifests in ending up with Germany having two centre-backs, two defensive midfielders, the wing-backs push up a little bit higher, and then a flat front four. What Sweden do differently is that they have Olma, who's operating more as a single pivot, but then pushes up to join the midfield pair. Angeldal, who will operate in between the lines of midfield, so she can carry that ball forward. So oftentimes she'll pull into wide areas, she'll receive a pass, link up with the wide player, whether that be the fullback or the winger, or she'll drive the ball forwards through the middle of the park. So she's a much better carrier than anything Germany have. And Aslani's much more mobile and much more moving a lot more than Dorman was. Dorman very static in the front line. Aslani will drop in to create options and not only receive the pass but create space for others. And then it's all about pace. They're moving the ball a lot quicker than Germany. Germany so slow in possession today. And the other thing is how the structure works with their wide players, because Germany's players want to cut inside, whereas Sweden's want to hold the width. And so that creates space because the players... So if the ball goes out to the wide player, the wing backs either got the fullbacks for the opposition has got to follow that, and that creates space for the attacking midfielder, or in this case, Angeldal or Aslan, depending on who it is, to then find space in that half space in the channel area to create opportunities. Or they don't go and press the winger, and the winger then has space to drive into. So they've been able to pull a lot of width through those wingers that then the midfield players can use, which Germany don't really do because they've got inside forwards. And they're much slower on the ball. So, yeah, really impressive football from Sweden so far. I think Gerhardsson deserves huge credit because his football's been criticised as boring before and too stale, but it's been one of the more effective setups at this summer's tournament. Sweden to get us back underway. Blackstenius knocks it back and we're underway for another 45 minutes. Sweden going from left to right. And looking to put the ball over the top. One back there by Voss.
Changes across the board, by the way. Nina Passadon's undone the changes she made from game 1 to game 2. So Padilla is back on, and so is Kamcic.
I don't understand those changes. Two of the players of Poland who were so effective at driving the ball forward. I don't know why she took them out for today.
Well, they're back on.
I understand why they're on for the second half.
And
they
then,
could make a big difference.
as we expected, Nilden was replaced by Anderson as well.
Yeah, indeed.
But 3 changes that make a lot of sense at half-time.
Johannes, thank you for the comments. It's very good explanations, even without a fancy TV studio and visualizations. Yeah, we do try and put visualizations into our videos, but it is difficult to implement while live. But appreciate the compliments.
It'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? Had all these screens, but they don't know. They think,
the tablet somehow, but it's difficult to do. Just for the 15-minute break. Sweden in possession then. Ball out into this wide channel. Here's Karnerid. Wants to carry the ball forwards. Has Aslani Angadal ahead of her. Just creeping into offside position. Karnerid now looking to take on Viankovska. Moving left and right. I really like those movements from Karnerid. The difficult event to deal with. Great from Angadal to skip past the defender. Well saved by King Ajemic. The cross there from Angadal. Too close to the goalkeeper. One back half the field here by Anderson. And now Sweden can recycle the ball. So it did end up taking off Nilden then as well.
Yeah, I mentioned that.
Oh, sorry. Karnerid comes inside. Looking to play a ball across, and it's one back there by Padilla. And now they can look to play. Here's Payor. Holds the ball up nicely. Cut out well by Anderson.
You look already there. The fact that Padilla was right up there with her. If Payor had got that ball, she'd have had someone to play it to, rather than trying to take on the world.
Yeah.
I think Watchalong will be annoyed that she got it slightly wrong tonight by making those 2 changes.
Here's Karnerid lifting the ball in and headed away. Now looking for Anderson. Into Blackstenius. Can she fashion a route to goal? Aslani here. Pokes it goalwards. It's blocked away well by Matasic. And now Poland can look to break. Here is Kamchik. Through the legs there of Ziggy Otioma. Out to this right-hand side. Payor running in behind here. Ilishted tries to keep track of her. Here is Payor bearing in on goal. Takes aim. It's blocked. Padilla tries to react. Much more positive for Poland in this second half. They've got threat on in attacking areas now. Players for Payor to link up with.
Massive boost. And to be fair, Payor apologised rightly because she should have cut that back to Kamchich. The shot wasn't too bad, but the deflection massively helped out with Falk. But Kamchich was screaming for it on the edge of the area.
Angeldal into the channel. Karnerid here. Sweden looking to add a second across the box. Big challenge there from Voss. And now Poland can break away again. Kamchik. Not the right pass. Does recover the ball. Can carry it forwards now for Poland. Difference maker in this half could be Kamchik. Now here's Tomasiak. Good defending from Lundqvist to stop her progressing. Strong challenge there from Viankovska on Karnerid.
Game's just sparked into life because Poland have brought on 2 changes and that's the thing I think that would be more frustrating because Padilla and Kamchich would have loved the opening stages when it was so end to end, and I think Poland would have been so much more dangerous.
Yeah. Here's Voss. Great switch to the play there into Padilla. Plays the ball into the channel to meet the run of Matasic. Matasic in towards Payor. Great control. Can she turn and get a shot away? Payor scrapping away for it. Here's Padilla now keeping the move alive. Takes aim just wide from Padilla. Took a deflection. And Poland now can threaten from this corner.
Look at different side. They completely look at different side with Kamchich and Padilla on the pitch. Really good hold up from Payor, but superb defending that from Natalie Bjorn to not let Payor turn. But Padilla just picks it up, has a shot. Takes a nick off Ilishted and out for a corner. Poland believe, though, changes have massively made the difference.
Yeah, definitely. And this is the problem. I struggle to understand the justification for the initial changes.
Yeah, but at least she's been proactive and Watchalong has realised her errors.
Because it was more defensive a setup, but they weren't facing a more defensive, a more difficult opponent, technically. Yeah. And actually, by going deeper, they invited more pressure on themselves. Kamchik, good ball. Payor, heads on. Not able to turn it goalwards. Here's Padilla.
They're on the ball all the time now. Every time Poland go forwards, it's the same 3 players on the ball.
Matisic, out to the right-hand side. Kamchik. Oh, sorry. It was the overlapping run there. I think it was Krejciman. Oh, Tomasiak, sorry. That is come off Tomasiak out for a goal kick.
Yeah, strong appeal from Payor and Kamchik, but the appeal there from Tomasiak wasn't strong enough.
Nigel says this is more what I expected from Poland tonight. Yeah, well, they've brought on players that can link up with Payor in attacking areas.
Yeah.
Much better.
They got it wrong. But they've realised that and they're looking to change it. And they've still got 40 minutes to find a goal.
Headed on by Tomasiak. Bjorn launching one forwards. Viankowska does really well to get that ball under her control. Now we'll send it forwards. Padilla trying to put pressure on this ball as it bounces. Lundqvist runs it out of play. She's complaining there. It's not a foul. They're just struggling under intense pressure now. Sweden have gone from having just Payor chasing after them to suddenly quite an aggressive and energetic front line for Poland.
They've got two options at the very least now every time they come forward rather than just one.
Kamchik trying to overplay that one though, and now here comes Sweden. Aslani trying to lift it to Yanogi. One back in there. Here now is Blackstenius. And Olma wins it back for the Swedes. Now to Bjorn. Carnered. Angeldal back to Carnered. Lovely give and go. Lift it to the back post. Aslani heads home. And that is liquid football from Sweden. And to take the sting out of Poland's bright start, Sweden, lovely link up down the right-hand side again. Floated ball in towards the back post, and Aslani, unopposed, heads home.
Brilliant. Absolute class from Sweden. They were up against it at the start of this half. Poland have started so well and we were looking to equalise, but Sweden take it up the other end. And another really good combination down the right-hand side. A great ball in from Carnered and a really good header from Aslani.
And this is how you get the best out of Joanna Rytting-Carnered.
So good.
You make a system that isolates her on the right-hand side against her fullback and let her do stuff like this. Lovely give and go with Angeldal. Viankowska's chasing shadows. Great delivery on Aslani. The benefactor there of Carnered's exquisite delivery. Sweden 2, Poland 0.
Such a good ball in from Carnered. So good. And Aslani has the lovely job of heading that one home.
Yeah, well, she's not going to get an easy opportunity, is she? Then a ball floated in.
That'll be frustrating for Poland because they've started so brightly and Sweden have just come along and zapped that all up. And I think it'll be frustration for Poland and Watchalong because they'll realise what they could have done from minute one if Padilla and Kamchik had been on the pitch.
Yeah. Nigel says, okay, what a player. On her day, a top winger. But she just needs to be more consistent. Angeldal into Aslani. Sweden here making this really difficult for Poland. Playing some lovely stuff. Kamchik out now to the right-hand side. This is always the risk for Poland. Becoming a bit more aggressive. Bringing on their attacking players. Of allowing Sweden just to become the dominant side. Giving them too much space to use.
They were bold. They were changes we could have seen on 70 minutes and they could have gone for it in the last 20, but they were bold. They went for it at half time.
I wasn't sure on Sweden coming into this tournament. An ageing side, the oldest team at this tournament by a distance, 29.5, the average age of this team. But they're playing like the most youthful one.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that experience is helping it, because the combinations, the connections in this side look really good.
Well, the biggest thing we've seen in these games where the pressure's on and there's qualification becomes at stake and sides getting knocked out becomes a reality. We've seen the side's been really cagey, but exactly it's that experience, that wealth of the amount of games between the players on the pitch is incredible, and they're using that, they're harnessing that in these pressure games, and I think they'll do exactly the same thing on Saturday against Germany.
Yeah,
they are thriving at the moment, Sweden, and playing some beautiful football.
And it's a difference when you've got a Poland side who've never been at the Euros before, and you've got players in the Sweden side that are there at their 5th and 6th Euros.
Yes.
Coming forwards now is Tomasiak. Good ball into the box, headed away. Now Aslani.
Just to put that into perspective for the debutants, Sherida Spitzer has more appearances for Netherlands national team than the Wales national team has played fixtures.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's absolutely absurd. So that's what, for sides like Wales and Poland, that's how big this tournament is. But when they come against like Sweden, who have been here for every single tournament, they've got the history and the experience and the class to just find a way.
Shem, welcome to the stream, and thanks, John, for subscribing. Good to see. And Nigel says, yeah, I've always thought that about quality isn't a question. She needs to be able to string it together game after game. Well, this has been Chelsea fans' biggest complaint of Joanna Ritting-Carnreid over the years, just unable to produce that quality week in, week out. We saw a burst at the start of this season where she was unplayable. Scored, I think, had a run of goal contributions lasting a few games for Chelsea, but then when we get to the business end of the season, just went completely missing.
Yeah.
And I think we need more from Carnreid next season.
If she plays like she has tonight, then yeah, she's a phenomenal player.
Ball into the box. Not sure. Oh, the ref hadn't blown a whistle.
No.
Not happy that Poland took that.
It's a shame that's a good ball in.
That's a great ball.
Yeah.
Looking for Voss at the back post. That will be a retake.
Yeah, Poland needs something soon.
And Kamchik over this again.
Well, they know what she's going to do now.
Got to spice it up. Ball swung in towards the back post. And Falk reading it wonderfully. And now they look to break down this right-hand side. Angeldal up against Vian. Matasic, gets on the ball really effectively. And, well, the cross less effective right into the hands of Falk in the Sweden net. Too easy. Matasic, that had to be a better ball. Intercept the pass nicely. Ball long looking for Blackstenia. Struggles to hold it up, though. Against the physicality of Shimchak. Now, Voss back to Shemek. Here's Pavelek. Now King of Shemek. Lifts it out to the right-hand side. Great pressure from Angeldal. And now the ball sent forwards. Looking for the run of Eberpayor. And Bjorn knocking it out of play. What I'm really enjoying about this Sweden midfield is the interchangeability of the roles for Angeldal and Olma, because they're both very complementary players. They can both do a similar thing, but they can both contribute in attack and defence. So when the ball's on the left-hand side, Olma will push up as the more progressive midfielder, and Angeldal will come in and sit in. And then when it goes on the right-hand side, they'll swap round. And we've seen more of it on the right-hand side tonight, because that's where all the positive play's been from Sweden. But when they come on the left-hand side, we start to see Olma come forwards as well. So really complementary midfield profiles, Angeldal and Olma, and it's working quite nicely. And they've got the luck of the bounce here, Sweden. Blackstenius bearing in on goal. Can she finish it off? Good block from Voss. And another chance goes begging for Stina Blackstenius.
Yeah, well trapped that by Voss. Does well to stick with that. Struggles in the foot race, but just waited and waited for the shot to happen. And it was fortunate how the clearance bounced off Aslani and fell into the path of Blackstenius. But yeah, probably should do better there. Stina Blackstenius, but well defended by Voss to get in front of it and charge it out for a corner. But yeah, Poland just they've lost the sting, and Sweden are trying to add a third to what has been a very, very good performance tonight.
And other fans behind the goal, getting them going. Sweden over this corner. It's Kosovare Aslani in towards the back post. Fumbled by Shemek and turned home, but it's disallowed. A foul, it's deemed, on the goalkeeper. Surely they will check this. Just bundled home there by Sweden. Shemek, though, deemed, I think, there to be fouled. Yeah, Olma nudging her when she's got the ball in her hands, leads her to spill it.
Yeah, I think there is a nudge, and it's going to be given because of the goalkeeper protection nowadays, but King of Shemek's lucky because she should hold on to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a foul. She gets nudged. But yeah, Sweden just trying to bundle, really, that ball home. Put as much pressure on the goalie as possible, but Olma there putting too much pressure onto Shemek.
Yeah. Carnreid. Now Lundqvist. Olma, Lundqvist. Natalie Bjorn across the left-hand side here with Amanda Ilestedt. That's forward options. We'll play a pass across to Natalie Bjorn. Now wider into Lundqvist. Great pass into Angeldal. Carnreid overlaps Angeldal. Pokes it to Carnreid. Lovely link up. Ball in for Blackstenius. Big stop from Shemek. But that's a lovely play again down the right-hand side for Sweden. This Angeldal, Aslani and Carnreid connection's been phenomenal this evening. And Poland just can't handle them.
Yeah, that combination, that triangle has just been superb, and it's tied Poland in knots. Carnereid, it's the best. This is the best performance we've seen from Carnereid since December. Absolute brilliance, and you know, the players they've got in the middle and central areas. It means that when Carnereid puts that ball in, you've got Blackstenius and Asllani waiting for it. Of course, Sweden are going to score goals because you're giving top players top service.
I'm waiting for a compilation tomorrow morning of Carnereid's best bits with She's Electric playing over the top. I just feel like that really suits him.
The Carnereid chop has happened. We've seen that at 7.
Yeah.
That's the, you know Carnereid's on top form. You know she's playing well when the Carnereid chop comes out because that means she's enjoying herself and she's feeling that, you know, up for it. She's got that flow to her game when she's chopping left and right.
Definitely. She looks sharp. I'm just hoping she can carry this into club form. Ball bouncing around. Big win in there from Lundqvist. Matisik. Now one back in there by Anderson. Under pressure from Tomasiak. And there's done really well there. The Polish wing. And of course they're off.
I feel for Poland. Sorry, for Sweden. Not to get too far ahead of themselves. But they could become victims of this just the seeding. Because they seed aside from Group D. It means they're going to come up against a top side in the quarterfinals, no matter what, unless Wales pull off a miracle.
Well, it was kind of sweet. Sweden have been done over since the qualifiers because they only seeded as a pot 3 side because they were in a group with France and England at qualifiers.
To be fair, we said something about World Cup, and then they went and faced the US and knocked them out on penalties. So, you know, they reached the semis of the last Euros, and obviously they lost 4-0 in the semi-final to England, but I don't think that was an accurate representation of how good they are. But they've got a knack for going deep and taking the game and knocking out the big sides. So I think the Germany game will prove a lot as to it will obviously decide who tops the group, but it will show where both sides are at. You know, I mean, it'll be more intriguing to see where Germany are at. I think the more than Sweden, but overall, it will see where both teams are at.
Yeah, Sweden would be faced with probably the toughest run possible if they were to finish second in the group because they'd face France as it stands in the quarterfinals, and then they've gone for a semi-final match, likely against Spain.
Yeah,
could be,
and then a final against
Switzerland, but
and a final against probably England, or
we hope.
Yeah, or Netherlands would be the other option, or Norway. So
Germany will be on that side.
Oh yeah, of course. Forgot them.
But they weren't great earlier. Really weren't great earlier.
Got
away with them there. No, Shemson's must win for England tomorrow. Yeah, definitely. We'll be live for that. 5 o'clock, England versus Netherlands. Gonna be a tough one. But England, no, it's a non-negotiable, really.
Oh yeah, 100%.
After the result against France, gotta be a win. A draw would keep us alive, but realistically, we don't want to rely on results elsewhere.
Yeah, and again,
brilliant from Kamsik. That's a soft foul.
Pressure's been a weird thing at this tournament. For England, they might thrive under it tonight. I think Poland have actually done really well. Pressure, yes, they haven't got the result, but the pressure's on. But they've still done well to challenge against Sweden.
I don't think that's the thing. I don't think the pressure's been on for Poland all tournament, and that's why
that is true.
Because they've not really, they've played with a lot of freedom. They've not really gone into any game. With any fear, seemingly. They fought Germany really hard. It was 0-0 at half time, and they competed decently, and especially in the second half, they've started to come forward with a bit more freedom. Sweden have just been really good.
But yeah, I think because even a draw really isn't good enough for England. It's realistically got to be a win.
Yeah.
And then Wales should be no offence, but should be a formality. And then 6. If you don't go through on 6 points, then you've done. It's impossible, really.
Indeed. And again, Sweden preparing for a corner. Asllani. Ball in to the box. Punched away by Kingerzemic. And Padilla trying to break away. Asllani. Now Anderson. Angledal. Lovely turn. Puts the ball in the box. Not the greatest delivery.
Still 25 minutes to go. It just feels like I think at 1-0 Poland could have nicked something and kept themselves in the tournament, but they need at least 2 goals now.
But if Poland get a goal in the next 5, 10, 15 minutes, it gets a little nervy at the end of the game.
It's game on.
Anderson into the box. This would kill it though. Header wide from Amanda Illerstedt, who stayed high after that corner, understandably so. known for her heading prowess. And almost adding to Sweden's tally there, just didn't look entirely comfortable, and Voss did really well to unsettle her.
It's the second one she's had that in a good area that has probably turned into more of a bit of a defensive header rather than an attacking header.
The other thing for Sweden is that there's no guarantee that they're going to be second. Speaking about their potential draw, but I look at their game on Saturday right now, and I'd say they're favourites against Germany. They'd currently be only behind them on goals scored. So if they can get another goal tonight, then a draw suddenly favours Sweden.
Yeah.
So there is a real reason for them to keep coming forwards, try and add another goal to their tally.
And Germany will be adamant on putting on a good performance because they've not been at the races so far this tournament.
Changes coming for Sweden. That's Lena Hurtig and Hannah Bennison. So a bit of energy into midfield and onto what will likely be the left wing for Sweden.
Makes sense that just to keep rotating through the squad, keep the squad fresh and make sure that you avoid any slip up.
It's the kind of game where you want to balance it because I'd keep Connery on if possible. Just to, because she's playing so well, let her thrive in that. As much as you might go, let's rest her up because she's been so good. I'd rather see her stay on and just keep thriving.
Yeah. But then, and then you manage it.
Really hold that ball up.
It's a good opportunity to give Hurtig and to give Bennison. I mean, they'll get, 23 minutes here. So, it's a good opportunity for those two players to get involved and have a decent stint here in the last few moments. So, it will be Asllani. Is that coming off? Yes, it will be.
So, Kosovari Asllani, 36 years old now, Asllani.
What a player.
Still going strong. She crossed over 200 caps, I believe it was. Or 250 caps.
200
caps in the last game. And a goal in her 201st. That's out Sweden to what will likely be a victory here. Now coming off for Hannah Bennison. Bennison just transferred, I believe, from Juventus to Real Madrid. Exciting transfer for her. And it is Olma off for Lena Hurtig. So that one's a little strange, but we'll work out what they're doing.
Bennison will probably sit in and Hurtig will just go and float in the attack midfield role. Front ball will come quite fluid anyway, I think. It has been all game, to be fair.
Yeah, Asllani's been drifting past. Blackstonius quite a few times. I'd rather see Bennison in that role, but she's more than capable of playing the deep role as well. She'll deliver this ball into the box now. Chance for Sweden, headed away.
That was only a masterstroke as that ball flew towards the head of Lena Hurtig.
Tomasiak. Kamczyk tries to go down the line, cut out by Anderson, giving us a Poland throw. The audacity there of Anderson to claim that as hers.
I think she... Yeah, I don't know about that one.
It looked like she just knocked it out of play. Poland now making changes. I guess one last roll of the dice really for them.
Yeah, that's a foul.
So I'm not sure Zinovic's coming on is going to make a huge difference.
Probably not.
A defensive change for Poland. But yeah, this feels like Sweden have this game under control at the moment.
Yeah, they're in a good spot now, and they should just see this out for the next 20 minutes. And I mean, they would hope to get a couple goals maybe.
Ball in, headed on, but it's going to be cleared away now by Payo. Can get it under her control. Trying to play a forward pass. One back in there by Angeldal. Strong defence from Tomasiak, but can't stop. Can't win the ball back. It's then cleared away by Wiankowska. Now they'll look to break away. Poland one back in there by Amanda Ilestedt. Here's Tomasiak. Or Padilla. Become very scrappy in the last minute there.
Yeah, and I think the Poland subs at the start of the half were really strong, but that Sweden goal just took all the energy really out of Poland and stung them. I think that really hurt them because they were working their way into the game. Another change coming in. Wiankowska is coming off.
Yeah, she's struggled tonight, Wiankowska, playing a left back. Having to try and deal with Kana Reed's Angledal Aslan. It's been a constant overload. She's just been dragged left and right.
Yeah.
And now Zinovic will come in and fill that role. For the last 20 minutes, throwing on the left side for Sweden. Anderson. Kana Reed. So Kana Reed's swapped flanks. No, playing in the midfield role.
Yeah.
No, Hertig is, I don't know. No one's playing on the right wing.
Just no one there.
Hertig goes across to cover it. Kamchik tries to win it back. Hertig now loses possession. Zinovic. Voss. Back now to King Ajemic. Now Zinovic. Lifting that ball over the top. Payor trying to meet it. And well, she almost caught Falk out there, you feel. Falk trying to see it out. But it's out for a Sweden goal kick.
Sweden will hope to keep this clean sheet intact. And, you know, if they...
Nigel was complaining about the Mexican wave in chat
Good.
before we even got
Honestly, just a joke.
It's been a real prevalent issue at this European Championships.
Yeah,
There's
every
Mexican
game.
waves.
Don't get what it is. You're at a football match. It's not a festival.
Yeah.
Poland trying to come forwards again.
At least we haven't seen torches in any other games apart from the Spain one.
Oh yeah, that was really poor. Long ball again. Falk beats Payor to it. But yeah, that is something you should never, unless the lights go out, that should never be introduced, because that is a concert thing and a concert thing only.
Yeah, the torches.
Yeah.
Or a halftime show.
No. It's probably the Ollie Murs.
No one gets their torch out during Ollie Murs, do they? There's not a song slow enough, really, is there?
No.
I'm not familiar with enough Ollie Murs music to be able to comment. Black Senius out to Yanogi on this left-hand side. Is there a performance at the final of this? Anderson. Ball in. Hertig can't get a shot away. Neither can Kana Reed. Good defending from Zinovic. Sees it out of play.
Someone must be. There must be. There is an opening ceremony. Not an opening ceremony. There is a final
Closing
concert.
ceremony.
Closing ceremony.
Euros.
That is a good point. Who is performing at the final? Kana Reed, they're frustrated. So is Petter Gerhardsen. Not happy with the decision that didn't go their way. But Poland have a goal kick. Sweden wanting more. Trying to add to the 2 goals they've got already. That ball is kicked directly up in the air. Benenson finds Yanogi. Hertig just behind Angledal, but that's where to win it back. Goes to Kana Reed. Again, looking to cause problems down the right hand side. Brilliant chop. Crosses it in. A little bit overhit. Picked up by Anderson at the far post. Up against Padilla. Anderson puts it in too low and cut out and cleared.
It is Linda Ellis. She's a Swiss singer-songwriter. Any fans of the German The Voice will be familiar. As
I watch that all the time.
she reached the finals of the German The Voice, and then has established herself as a Swiss singer-songwriter known for her captivating voice and heartfelt lyrics. She sings pop and folk music.
Any songs we'd recognise or would know?
Unless you're into Swiss folk pop.
No, it's not. It's not.
Not.
Not a bit of me, that, to be honest.
Well, I look forward to hearing that
At
on a movie television at the final. Can't wait. And now a big change for Sweden. Fridolina Rolfo to get her first minutes of this year's European Championships. As if Sweden haven't looked good enough in attack.
That is crazy, yeah. Still got a Rolfo. Still got Rolfo to add to this Sweden front line.
Voss. Into Tomasiak. One back by Angledal. Pavelek. Kamchik. On this right-hand side for Poland. Carrying the ball forwards. Options to the left and to the right. Lovely turn from Kamchik. Out to the right-hand side. Here's Padilla. Ball in. Not a great one. And Fout claims a fairly comfortable one. So, just under a quarter of an hour left. The thing is, Sweden probably need a goal.
They'd like a goal, yes.
It would put them in a really good position heading into Germany. They'd be in a position where they could draw and go through. Carnereid knocks it past Zinovics.
It's not going to run, and it is now because Carnereid kicked it off. Oh, well, apparently not.
Corner. Did look like it took a nick off Zinovics' foot, to be fair.
Maybe.
She is adamant otherwise, but...
Yeah. It's a shame that Jared Gillett hasn't had to get involved tonight.
Is it?
On the old VAR.
Is it a shame? I think it's a relief, if anything.
Yeah. Good to see the only English on-field official also get a run out tonight.
And this will be the end of Janogi's evening, coming off for Fridolina Ropo. And this could be huge, Ropo.
Just crazy, isn't it?
Getting fit to come and play the last 15 minutes here. If she can build up her sharpness, be ready for the knockouts, that would be big. Because Sweden have missed an out-and-out goal scorer, someone that can add quality in the final third. Consistency, well, Ralfo is exactly that. Ball into the box from Ludwig. Header on target, and it's there. And it's Lena Hurtig, a player who hasn't had many minutes for Arsenal this season. Her selection for Sweden was criticised by the media, but she has come up with a goal there. Poland 0, Sweden 3, and they go top of the group.
Really big goal for Sweden. And with the aerial threat that they now have on that team, you expected someone to head it home. And Lena Hurtig.
Lena Hurtig being the biggest aerial threat.
Probably not, but she's still a pretty good player in the air.
That's a great header, isn't it?
Such a good ball in from Anderson. And she just pops up, rises highest, and Šimić can only get a hand to it. But it's a good header. Unlucky for the Polish keeper.
Yeah.
But yeah, plenty of options in there that could have headed it home. But as you say, that third goal takes Sweden to the top of Group C. That's a huge goal.
Well, that can make all the difference going into Saturday. They're in a position now where they can play for the draw. I mean, they'll want to beat Germany anyway, but they can draw the match and they'll go through as group leaders. So
that's so strong. That's really important for them.
And I'll be honest, a huge step on performance. Really struggled. I thought in the opener to finish off chances and to create high quality chances. But now flowing in this game. Poland change. Achkinska coming off. Kokosz on the field.
Especially because Pitt will look at this result and just assume that Poland didn't play very well and Sweden took advantage of a poor side. But Poland have produced a good account of themselves, I feel. And yes, maybe they could have done better, but I think actually being more aggressive and not sitting as deep has benefited them because they've made a game of it. And I think they'd like to get the goal. I think if Nina Pasadon had this one back, she would have started Padilla and Kamčić from the off rather than dropping them. I think that she'll be the first person to admit that she got that decision wrong, and maybe it would have been a different game. But
maybe. I look at how they've gone in the second half, and I do wonder if they're slightly too aggressive now.
Maybe.
So perhaps justified in those changes. I think it's a case of they just can't compete with the quality Sweden have across the field.
I just think that in those opening 20 minutes before Sweden settled down, I feel like Poland could have got a goal if those players were on the pitch, and then that would have been a different game, and then suddenly they could have made those defensive changes if it was 1-0 or 1-1.
Yeah, true. Poland have just found goals hard to come by. They were really unlucky not to score, to be fair, in the Germany game. They offered
100%.
Germany a really tough matchup. One height of the pitch here for Sweden. Blackstenius has to finish this one and makes a bit of a mess of it. Just took too long.
Yeah. Didn't know what to do.
She could have had 5 tonight, Stina Blackstenius, and she's only had 1.
I feel like I've said that every 70% of the time I've watched her play this season.
Zawistovska on, by the way, for Tomasiak. So another change for Poland. This one on the right flank.
But yeah, Blackstenius is always one of those players where she plays well. Her movement's brilliant. She always, she gets a goal, but she could have had so many more.
I don't think there's ever been a game of football where she has
the Champions League
How
final.
overperformed her expected goals tally.
Champions League finals were the only game I've seen her actually, be clinical because she got
one
one shot. Yeah, one shot and took it.
9 shots today for Blackstenius. 2.23 xG. And she's notched up just 1 goal. Carnegie, great challenge that from a recovery.
It's difficult because it's not that she's not missing all of them. She's still, and that's why I find it really difficult with Blackstenius, and especially when talking about for Arsenal, that because she puts up decent numbers. She's scored tonight. Her movement's been good.
2 big chances missed.
Her overall play's been brilliant, but yeah, she should have scored so many more.
Carnegie was 7 chances created this evening.
Wow,
3 big chances.
I mean, that's unplayable. That is that, and this is the thing. Sweden, because people look at Sweden in the opening game had a Carnegie not on her game, a Yanogi who wasn't brilliant, and a Blackstenius who just didn't touch the ball.
Angeldal, one hacked.
But now they're finishing this game with a Blackstenius who's got involved tonight and scored, with a Carnegie who has been unplayable, and a Rolfo who is getting back to full fitness.
Yeah.
That is a completely different metric of front three.
But they've just got to start hitting the target more. 20 shots in this game, only 6 on target, 7 big chances and 4 missed.
It's how it translates to the bigger sides, because Blackstenius has scored 1, but she's missed loads.
3.7 xG.
They won't get that against bigger sides.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to be clinical when they play against better sides. That will be my one question of Sweden: is can they be clinical? Can they make it count when Germany's going to be a great? I think Germany presents a good opportunity for them because the pressure's off. They don't have to win it, but it would be nice to win it, and it gives them an opportunity to test themselves against one of the top sides.
Yeah. Nigel says Blackstenius is so polarising. Don't know how many players can look as good as Blackstenius and yet be so frustrating. Agree. She's someone who will give you constant energy, runs in behind, but she just doesn't find the back of the net consistently enough. Which. So she could, you wouldn't want her starting at a top club, but she does suit Arsenal as that bench player. So I'm gonna just come on and be a little bit, her touch sometimes escapes, so she's a bit like Bambi on ice at times, but other times she'll get the ball down and slot it home. But such an inconsistent player, but someone who I think in a substitute role can contribute massively. The thing for Sweden is they have to rely on her now to really step her game up and be the number 9, the starting forward for this Sweden side.
Which she can do. She can do it. And that's the thing, we've said this again in the Denmark game. If you get Carnegie and Blackstenius on their day, and Rolfo, although she's usually very, very good all the time, but on their day, Sweden have got some players to challenge the very best in the world.
And more on Blackstenius at a club level, but Arsenal fans have called for get another striker, give someone someone for Russo to compete with. But I think actually they're going into next season now with a perfect profile of strikers.
As long as they stop trying to force Blackstenius into the side as well as Russo.
Yeah, that's stupid. They just stop doing that. But they've got a 25-year-old, I want to say Russo is now. A 25-year-old striker entering the prime of her career in great form.
Yeah.
They've got a 19, 20-year-old who is big, is physical, a power finisher, and an aerial threat. And they've got a 30-year-old Stina Blackstenius, who is, 29, so even a year younger, who is constantly able to come off the bench and offer someone who can run in behind. So against different opponents, they've got different things now. Russo's your starter for every game, and Aguimang and Blackstenius are your options against different opponents.
Yeah.
Now, you want Blackstenius coming on in the big ones, where there's space to attack in behind the defence, perhaps.
Yeah.
And you want Aguimang coming on where it's a little bit scrappy.
Yeah.
Where there's a team playing a low block, and you want someone in there who's just going to go in there and bully defenders and try and make something happen.
Yeah.
So I think they've got a really nice profile.
Change coming with the way for Sweden.
And a change up front. I think you will be seeing the Blackstenius coming off, and a chance to see Ella Wangerheim. Ellen Wangerheim, young Swedish talent, playing her stuff at Hammarby, only 20 years old. Had a really good season, is attracting interest from Europe's elite. Chelsea believed to be in pole position for her signature, because what Chelsea need more of is strikers.
Yes.
Because Kerr, Beaver Jones, Fischel, Ramirez isn't enough. Does point to us probably.
The other
departure.
Falk's had a decent tournament. Not really been tested, but a decent tournament. But You forget that obviously Sweden without Sakira Musovic for this
Yeah,
tournament,
first choice goalkeeper.
which is a big miss.
Yeah, indeed. Here come Poland. Kokosz takes aim just wide.
Well, I thought Falk was going to concede there just after I praised her. But yeah, big block in there from Benison. And Sweden will want to avoid conceding, because they want to keep that clean sheet, keep that defensive record. But a goal now for Poland. Oh no, I forgot it's 3-0. Never mind, ignore me. But you don't want to concede. You want to keep you want to keep yourself in a good position.
Well, also that would then put them back behind
and the goal
Germany.
difference. Yes.
Well, they'd be level on Germany on literally every match would come down to yellow cards.
Which Sweden haven't got that many actually. I think Germany probably got more. I have no idea.
Let's find out. Yeah. Sweden picked up a single. Slani got one today.
Oh yeah, that was daft.
And none in the opener.
Yeah. I think Germany had more than one. Knack got one today, and so did somebody. I can't remember now.
No yellows in their opening game.
Oh, so they're level on yellows as well.
No yellows, and yeah. So I don't know what they're doing on now.
Oh.
I think they're just both go through first. If it's a draw, if Poland will score, and then it's got to rely on Poland scoring first. But if Poland were to score, Sweden and Germany would be tied on every metric going into the final game.
Yeah.
So I think Germany would go through on alphabetical order. Rolfo.
That's fun.
Illustrated.
Don't think any of that's going to happen, but we'll find out. Poland's still pushing. They want a goal. They want to have something said about this Euros. Obviously, they've still got the Denmark game, which I think they could win, to be fair. And that would be big for them to leave this Euros with a victory. But I think they'd like to get a goal. But when you consider that Portugal conceded 5 in one game to Belgium, to Spain, and Belgium conceded 6 in one game to Spain, the fact that Poland have turned up this tournament and only conceded 5 goals in 2 on their debut against 2 of the best sides in the world is not a bad showing at all.
No.
And they probably should have scored. In both, they've had opportunities to score in both games, especially in that Germany game. So if they can do that and they turn up against Denmark and find a goal, then credit to them. That is a little bit cheeky, that, from Lena Hurtig. Just deliberately grabbed Padilla and pulled her down.
Not sure how necessary that is at this stage of the game.
Yeah, it's silly. She looked straight. She knew exactly what she was doing.
Yeah. Paul Fox, claimed well by Falk.
Yeah, last couple minutes then of this game. Not expecting too many additional minutes, but I think we'll probably get a couple.
They do always have to tone it down, don't they, when the games are...
Yeah, they do. They've been really smart about this tournament.
Trying to play that through to Vangerheim. Is caught in the challenge. Free kick on the edge and yellow card for Šimčák.
Yeah, not a good tackle, that. Caught Hurtig late there. Hopefully she's alright. Goes to knock it past her. Oof, I'll tell you what. That is not a good tackle at all. It's not. It's a yellow. It's nothing more. But yeah, certainly a free kick and a card. And yeah, I just think Poland haven't defended as well as they did against Germany. And part of that is because they have been more aggressive. And they have gone for the game.
And part of it is that Sweden have been much better.
Yes.
Considerably better, so... Everything positive, really, for Sweden.
Yeah.
Now a free kick on the edge with a chance to add to their lead. I imagine Rolfo will want this. She is over it, as is Angeldal. Was it Angeldal we saw hit an absolute peach for a free kick that was kicked wonderfully over the bar?
Well, it was Ostengard in Matchweek 1.
Yeah.
Well, she'll look to try and do something. Rolfo,
she does have. I was going to say she does now have competition from Rolfo, who does love a free kick.
I love when you get these sides and you look at their free kick options. You see it quite a lot in the international stage, and it's just incredibly loaded with loads of players that can hit a dead ball beautifully.
I think it's Angeldal that will strike. It strikes well. Well saved by Šimčák. Yeah, and they've got 2 options there of Angeldal, who's just going to thunder it towards the top corner, and Rolfo, who looked to dish over the ball 4 minutes of additional time in this game. Of course, there's Rolfo lefty. Yeah, she's left footed, isn't she? So she could have carved that one in.
Hertig on the charge, swept up by Shemek. Decent tournament for King of Shemek. We said that it should probably be pretty important for Poland. Had a good debut season with West Ham in the WSL. And I think has done pretty well at this tournament to make some big saves to keep Poland in games.
Yeah, I wonder if they'd have been better off just dipping over the wall.
Maybe.
It's a little close to get up and under, but...
Yeah.
All in behind, vertical pass. You're trying to get in behind tonight, Ilestead.
Tell you what.
Does really well.
I know it's... I think Ilested's done much better than Sembrand did. And it's good to see...
Shock.
Yeah. It's good to see Ilested back in the starting 11.
Don't get me wrong, Sembrand used to be brilliant, but she's 38 now.
That is true.
Something like that. Vang on trying to break in behind there. Went down under challenge from Shimchak. Nothing wrong with that one.
Right. It's kind of... I mean, this what I think is Ilested's second start since she came back from pregnancy.
Yeah, something like that. She's not.
She had a lot of sub appearances for Arsenal, I know, but I don't know how many she started.
Let's deal with Eva Payot. Ludwig, welcome to the stream. Says I'm from Sweden. Welcome. Hope you're enjoying your side performance tonight. They've been excellent so far. Max Denius, the overlapping run of Fridolina Rolfo. Can she create an opportunity? Good tackle from Matisic. And Rolfo keeps the press on high. Benison. Poor pass. That's given as a Poland free kick anyway. Padilla was caught in the challenge.
Yeah, just not to be for Poland tonight. They battled well, especially in that first half, but I feel like despite a intense and very aggressive first 5 minutes, that second Sweden goal just killed them off and put this game to bed. But they've battled well in the first two games of their Euros debut, and they'll be optimistic, you feel, going into Saturday that they can get a result against Denmark and takes home something, give the fans something to cheer about. But to be fair, the fans have looked like they've loved their time. Of course you would. Your nation's debut international tournament, you're going to go out there, you're going to support them, and you're going to enjoy it no matter what happens.
But that left-hand side hasn't quite come off. Battling away for it, Matisic. Well held up by Kokosh. Kamchik out to the left, to the right-hand side. Anderson reacts well, falls though for Poland. Takes that range off the post.
What an effort that was. Really unlucky.
Oh.
So close for Poland to get their first goal at the Euros.
Yeah, Zawistowska with a great effort. Almost finding goal. Hertig coming inside.
Well defended.
Shielded off well. Now they'll look to break. Thanks to the comments in chat. Appreciate everyone who said they've loved the stream. Almost a great goal at the end there. And that would have meant they went down to alphabetical order.
Yes, it would. Well, until next week. Not next week, Saturday.
Indeed. Last game's of match day 2 tomorrow. Looks like the Euros only started yesterday.
Yeah.
What a tournament we've had so far.
Tomorrow will be a week.
Yeah.
That is just absurd.
And that is full time here in Luzern. Poland 0, Sweden 3. A commanding performance from the Swedes. Decisiveness in attack that we just didn't see from Germany as they took on Poland. Lovely link up down the right hand side. The combination start between Angledal, Aslani and Carnegie was simply unstoppable. And the goals tonight from Blackstenius, Aslani and from Lina Hertig. A really impressive 3-0 performance. Sweden climbed to the top of the group, heading in to match day 3 where they'll take on Germany, hoping to finish as group winners.
Solid performance, high class performance from Sweden. And as you say, they are in pole position to top Group C. But they're through to the knockouts again. They've competed in all 14 editions of the European Championships and they have still never been grouped. An incredible record. And they keep that up tonight with a win. Shame for Poland as they go out. They don't crash out though. I think they've gone out in a good fight. They've put
The goal
a good
difference doesn't do
battle.
them justice.
No.
They've not They've played really well compared to expectations.
But to
You
be
look at how Wales have performed. You look at how
100%.
Portugal performed. You look at how Belgium performed. Poland haven't been that bad. They're drawn in a really difficult group, but they've competed really well, especially in that opener against Germany.
Yeah,
Tonight they're
exactly.
unlucky just to come up against a really difficult Sweden side.
Yeah, they concede. Yes, they've conceded 5 goals and they are on -5, but everyone expect them to concede 5 to Germany alone, and they only conceded 2, and they have opportunities to score in both games. They're part of a good fight. Obviously, they'll be disappointed to be knocked out, but I think they'll hope to put on a good performance for the fans against Denmark or on Saturday. But overall, congratulations to Sweden. They are the 4th side confirmed through to the quarterfinals, and they will battle out with Germany on Saturday to see who will top the group. But a high-class performance, the kind of calibre of performance we hope the Lionesses can deliver tomorrow night.
Very much so. Join us tomorrow, 5 p.m. We'll be live for quarter to 5, live for England versus Netherlands. The Lionesses back in action. We'll be in full England mood, so it should be good. Even if you're not an England fan, get involved in the live chat. Join us. It's going to be a good vibe to the stream. Phil, looking forward to it. Nigel as well. Cody Lays up the stream says these teams deserve Group A, so they could be above Norway. Yeah, that's the thing. Some of the other groups have been lower in quality. I think if you put Poland in Group A, they'd have done very well at this Euros. They're just unlucky that they've drawn such a tough group. I'd back them to get a result maybe on Saturday. That game against Denmark will be very interesting. That, though, is everything from us this evening. We're back tomorrow with more Euros 2025 content. But if that doesn't satisfy you, if you can't possibly wait till quarter to 5 tomorrow, well, go and check out our channel because we reviewed match day 1, where there is still a little bit of relevance, looking into the England and the Netherlands game. And obviously then looking forward to what could happen tomorrow. And go and check out the shorts on the channel. There'll be more of those coming over the next few days. That was everything. Thank you guys very much for watching. And we'll see you next time.